There we go. Welcome to Bold Moves Radio. And I am Pastor Strike, your host this evening. The program is Love SA. Love SA, I call it the Nehemiah phenomenon. When you look at Nehemiah and how he loved Jerusalem, his home city, he was so concerned that when he found that the city walls were broken down and the gates were burnt with fire, he went on mourning as if somebody died. And then he fasted and prayed and went out strategically to spy the whole thing, to check out how it is, how it looks like, as a great strategist. And he checked it out. And after that, that's when now he started involving others, negotiating and bringing people on board.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, as South Africa, I feel the need for us to love South Africa and to rally around building, protecting. I always sit back and say, by the time my grandchildren are men, will there be still South Africa? Or are we eating it up? Are we tearing it apart? Looking at all sorts of social ills, looking at the violence, looking at the violence against women, against children, looking at how we've become a different people altogether. If a truck will keep size, carrying whatever it carries, how we'll stop with our cars and begin to load things on our own cars. And this, I know many a time we blame it to poverty, we blame it to joblessness, but here I'm talking about people who are driving cars, people who are able to earn a living. But there is such a moral decay that is so scary. And I ask myself, if I do this and my grandson is watching, what kind of a future, what kind of a legacy am I building?
Yeah.
If you remember the July unrest and all the lootings, one thing that scared me was of a CEO of a company who was driving a nice car, who was caught also looting a television set.
Yeah.
So this is a pandemic on its own. When we are disgruntled, service delivery issues are not in place, we don't mind to go and dig a road and dig a ditch right in the road. We express our anger, we express our dissatisfaction in many ways that are in no way acceptable. And I am saying, can we as a people, can we as South Africans wake up to the reality that whatever we are doing, we're not doing it to somebody else. We're shooting our own foot.
Yes.
It is my mom who's going to be needing service from an ambulance using the very same road that I've dug. It is my brother who's going to need emergency help after I have destroyed infrastructure. It is my children and my children's children who will need education in that very same school that I've burnt down.
Yeah.
So I am saying love SA because we have to do something about it. And this again says, what am I doing? How am I contributing in loving South Africa? And I can extend it and say, love Africa. But let me start with my hometown. Let me start with my home nation, South Africa, and say to my brothers, to my sisters, yes, you might be disgruntled. You're not happy. Things are not the way you want it to be, but we cannot justify our anger or our dissatisfaction by beginning to break things around. My question is, are you part of the problem or are you part of the solution? And I applaud all men and women, boys and girls that are part of the solution, that have laid their lives down, came out with programs, came out with initiatives that are about building South Africa. And I want you to know, this South Africa that I have today, I've inherited it. My fathers, my big brothers, they bought it with their own blood. And today we are called a democratic South Africa. And I want to say, what kind of a South Africa am I leaving behind? What kind of a South Africa are you leaving behind? And I want to say to somebody this evening, as we say, love SA. I have my guest tonight, and we are just doing a follow-up. Yesterday, we were together on the conversation, but we're doing a follow-up because the project that we spoke about yesterday, it happened today. And I'm so touched to see stakeholders, men and women, organizations, departments coming together to shape the South Africa that we can be proud of. And that is none other but Mrs. Universe Africa 2022 finalist, POTEDI MATJUTLA.
Thank you.
And I just want to welcome you, my dear, and good evening once more, and welcome to Love SA.
Thank you so much. Good evening. Good evening to the viewers. Good evening to the listeners. I'm so humbled to be here. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much, Maruti.
Thank you so very much. And I would love to say to you, my brothers and sisters who are joining us on Bold Moves Radio, and those of you who are on Bold Moves Radio YouTube and Facebook page, this is a new program called Love SA.
Yeah.
And tonight, we are going to be looking at people that are doing something about their South Africa. Like I said, it is a Nehemiah phenomenon. When we read in the Bible the story of Nehemiah, we see how this man takes it upon himself to do good and to rebuild the walls that were broken down, that were shattered. And this evening, I would love to hear from my guest, looking at the project that we spoke about yesterday. What do you have to share with us this evening?
Thank you so much, Maruti. Firstly, I am so full of praise and that he made it happen, and it happens effortlessly. Like I was so humbled with the fact that even the stakeholders, they even came even earlier, to say that we're here to support your move, to support this initiative, because it's quite a very big initiative. Like it's actually at the breaking where it has to fly, that the nation has to see, and the nation has to be on board, and the departments and governments and have to be on board so that we can be a better nation, we can be a better community. It has to start there. And I was so happy. I was so happy that the program went well, and all the people that we expected them to be there, they were there, and all of them, they contributed so well, and they were well spoken, and I'm so happy, and I believe that those children's lives have been impacted.
And let us look at exactly the children. Let's talk about the school. You visited. Let's talk about the learners you addressed and their grades and the number, if you may, the number of young boys specifically, because the project is specifically geared toward young boys, as it is called, King's Young Men's Enrichment Program. Let's talk about the school which you visited. Let's talk about the number of learners. And before we even talk about the program itself and the stakeholders, would love to know the stakeholders and hear about which stakeholders were there, what were your expectations met, and things like that.
Okay, with regard to the school itself, we have decided at the beginning to adopt, to say that we want to adopt or want to commit ourselves to work with Ipupeng Secondary School. And we consulted with them, and we decided that we need to start with the grade 8 and 9. And initially, when we had the grade and 9 learners, we did a follow-up after the first session, and we called the teachers and say how was the program and so forth, and we were very happy, or I am very pleased, because the response was very good. The response was like, we need this type of programs in our school because of Kiko Makhayengi, and sometimes it's not easy for learners to get this type of encouragement or this type of information that is needed, that they need to hear, So they were so happy to say that we want to come back, until we decided that we committed ourselves for a long-term program. So hence we went for the second time even now. Just when we got there, the beauty about it even today was the impact that you guys have made in the first program. Please, can I request, there was a principal, there was another teacher, that can I request that the 10C, it was another grade, then can I request that particular 10C to be part of this, because I believe that they felt what we have shared at the in February. They felt that the 10C class need to hear this type of information, because possibly I believe that they saw the progress with regard to the grade 8 and 9. And remember, they were there at that time of the event, even the teachers. They felt that the grade 10C need to hear this. For me, it was like, thank you so much, because you see the need and you see this can be applicable even to the other grades. Not that we're not taking other grades, of course, but we wanted to do to lay a foundation from that age itself. So they said, okay, can we ask for that? And I was so happy that it's fine as long as the space can be there. They were welcome to be part of the program itself. Yeah.
And at least how many were there all in all?
I think there were over 100 and something. I think over 130 somewhere there. Yes, in the wall. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. And let's now talk about the stakeholders that came on board.
Yeah.
What has been the response of stakeholders? Because, when you start a project, the African proverb says it takes the entire community to raise a child.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And then let us talk about Ngwana Awa Uma, which says it's not my child alone.
Yes.
It's the child of the community. It's the responsibility of the entire community to shape this child, because at the end of the day, this child is going to come back and be an asset to the very same community.
Absolutely.
That is why we come from a background where a parent is a parent, whether she's the neighbor or he's a neighbor, but they would be a parent, except for how things have turned so bad that you will not trust a neighbor, with your children.
Yes.
But let's talk about the response of the stakeholders.
Okay. Thank you, Maruti. And on that, I remember at the beginning of the beginning of this year, after the program that we had around after February, we had International Women's Day, where I was invited to attend. And when I got there, I was sitting there hearing all the speeches at my workplace. And I was so touched with particularly our brigadier, the Brigadier Mashile, when they were talking about the impact they want to do at the communities. And one thing that brought me to tears, I said that this is the woman I want to work with. She spoke on one leg that in all of them, they covered all aspects that I needed, but she spoke of the leg that was so close to my heart, which is the boy child. That even in Limpopo, they emphasize on the issue of empowering the boy child, and that we should not leave the boy child alone. I said, this is the woman I want to work with, because this is the woman that really had the same vision that I have, or same passion. Let me just call it a passion, or the heart for the boys. And I contacted her, and I was so happy when I spoke about these initiatives. It was just effortless. She was just, hey, I'm in, I'm on board. I'm happy with what you're doing, because I said to her that I heard you. I did not know her because she works in a different section, and she's part of the committee of women's network within SAPS. She said after speaking to her, she was very pleased, and to say that, can we please send me your portfolio of evidence, or your proposal, or whatever the information that you have with regard, what is your vision with regard to the boy child? And I did, and she was very impressed and say, let's take it from there. Let's run with this thing. And for me, I said to myself, thank you, Lord, because you cannot work in silos. You need, like you said, said moruti gore you can ngwana a sokola kwa se motlogele at your neighbor to say gore ngwana wa sokola then is not mine, ngwana wa next door ngwana how, ngwana wa community ngwana wa how. So we have to stand together as a community to make sure that bana ba rona ba gola and ba gola hantle and ba gola to be better boys or to be better girls or to be better people at large. So this is particularly one stakeholders, which is South African Police Services. Brigadier Mashile that also worked around the Women's Network. She's part of the committee, the Women's Network, that who's currently decided that I am going to run with you. I'm going to support this initiative. I'm going to, please just send me the invite. And when I sent the invite, she was like, I'm in there. I'm there.
Wow.
I'm there, and just tell me where the place, what is the program. This is part of my initiative. I didn't know that this is part of the program they had.
Oh, yes.
I had no clue of this is one of the things that they do. So it just like, I am grateful to God because it just connect together. It shows that when you submit yourself and say, Lord, here I am, I'm just a vessel. Do whatever you want to do with my life. God directs you.
Yes.
He directs your steps. You don't have to worry, where am I going to go? Who do I need to approach and so forth. And things that just got together just like that.
Wow.
And also with the Mama Bolo from the Capricorn District Municipality and addressing Men for Change. And for me, like I was just blown away. I feel he just gave me a little, just because with time. I feel there's so much that Mama Bolo has to unleash, to dish out. And I'm so happy that he said, whenever that you have this type of program, I'm there.
I'd love for us, because I see Brigadier Mashila, she's with us here.
Yeah.
I would love for us to bring her on board and talk to her, and then talk about that Mama Bulo.
Yeah.
Honestly, he moved me, moved the boys.
Yeah.
He's such a blessing.
Yes.
It comes down to their level. And let us just welcome the Brigadier. Brigadier Mashila, welcome to Love SA. Riperilimani. Mama, you have been part of the King's young man enrichment program today, which was happening at MATJUTLA, and this is it under Capricorn?
Yes.
Yeah, under Capricorn District.
Yes.
Yes, and you come all the way from Mopani District.
Yeah.
Mama, tell me what exactly moved you? Yeah, I mean, you have got a lot of work at your level and a lot of commitments, but I saw you coming in, sit with the boys, talk to the boys, and love the boys, take pictures with them. How did you come to meet with our Mrs. Universe Africa 2022 finalist, Brigadier?
Thank you, and good evening to the listeners out there. During March 2022, we had an event at Beachwood, celebrating International Women's Day. It's where the finalist saw me there. She called me to say she wanted me to be part of the event. I told her that I'm available as long as you are dealing with the community. At the things of the community, I'm available for you. So she invited me to one school at MATJUTLA, Ipopeng High School, where our focus was on a boy child. The purpose was to empower the boy child. Most of the time, when you go to the schools as police, as we're having programs to visit school and give them awareness, we address both boys and girls at the same time. And when we do campaigns also in the community, the villages, we address all the people there. So we feel we need to focus on the boy child. Give special attention to the boy child. Because we need to produce real men out of those young ones. Because as such, we realize that most of the GBV perpetrators are males.
Yes.
And our cells are full with male people, especially youth. So we feel that we must do something about this. Because when we found them, many at the police station being arrested, some they get sentenced at an early age, it affects their future as young boys.
Yes.
And some of the boys, they grew up in abusive families. Whereby at the end of the day, it affects them somehow. As they grow up, they want to practice what they've seen happening in their families. And once they are grown up, it's not easy for them to be assisted. So if we assist them at an early age, we can have real men from those young ones.
Amen.
So our focus that we must make sure that we produce real men and show them direction while they're still young.
Now, I would love for Mrs. MATJUTLA to converse with you as your host. And as for me, honestly, I was blown away to see such a high level of commitment, and most especially from mothers. Brigadier Mashile, you're a mother, and I must be honest, every person that I've ever met, they were born of a woman, and I believe that mothers, they touch us in a special way. And I'm gray-headed now, but I still miss my mom, who passed on in 2008. You know, I wish every time I achieve something, I wish she was here to see what I've become. And to me, it's so touching to see mothers rising up and not saying, men, fathers, it's this, the ball is in your court, but you still say, this is my boy. This is my punchu punchu. I touch this, I touch this baby's cheeks, and I nest this baby to where now he grew beard and become a man. And of course, I think it's very concerning for you to see this very same punchu punchu becoming a murderer, becoming a criminal, having criminal records, because some of the children or young men, they find themselves with criminal records because they did not know that playing that way will land them in crime, and that will dent their lives forever. So, Sis POTEDI, if you could talk to our brigadier tonight and reflect on even what she shared with us, which was so powerful this afternoon.
Brigadier, thank you so much. Firstly, I really appreciate the fact that you took your time from work. You had a whole lot of things that you needed to do, but you decided to say that this is where I'm going. I need to support another woman in this type of initiative, which is something that is very close to your heart. I am so happy, and I'm so blessed that you're part of this initiative. And one of the things that I really took out from there, that where you address the issue of drugs, and it's something that is one of the crying, our communities are crying, our parents are crying, and most of them, they end up and all of that. I'm glad that you decided to come down to their level and be able to speak to them, to say how much this thing can destroy you as a human being. And this for me, that shows that as a mother, you decided to say, like the child that you're pregnant, but you decided that I need to assist that child, even if you regardless of whether it's from the Mopani district and now I'm coming to the Capricorn district. And for me, that's a very humbling experience, Mema Sheila. I really appreciate that, and I'm trusting God that they've taken your advices. I'm trusting God that they've taken and hence we're still gonna do more and more follow up in where they say possibly that on how we can assist them further in terms of implementation and so forth. We'll see on how to make sure that it mustn't just end there. So we'll continue following up on those schools. Yes.
Hello, Brigadier.
Hello, I'm listening.
Thank you so very much. And I just want to ask Brigadier, because honestly, many a time when we see our police men and women, in most cases, I always say, if you hate the presence of police personnel, you must be doing something wrong. Because if you're doing something right, they are the right people to be closer to. And as SAPS, Mama, I heard you sharing about most of the programs that you're doing, reaching out. So you're not only stopping crime through arresting people that are against the law, but you're going all out to empower communities. What are some of the programs and the projects that you're embarking on, and what would you love to say to our district Mopani, where I come from, and to all the districts of our province?
Thank you. What I can say, I'm a provincial women network chairperson, which means I'm available to interact with everyone in the province. I'm available to go to all the districts of Limpopo, Waterberg, Kukune, Rembe, I'm available to partner with other stakeholders or NGOs, because as such, we can't do some things alone. We need each other. We need the church to be with us, NGOs and everyone in the community to work with us to fight crime. And what I can say, we spoke about, we are addressing bullying also in the morning, the kids. So we need to show them what are the contributors of this crime. There are things which are taking, which make them to commit different crime. We should also need to address those type of things before, and to show them the right way as young boys to say they must take this direction in order to succeed in life. We need to show love. We are not there to arrest only as we need to show love, to show that police, they are there to assist. We need to be friends with those people out there. They must see help when they see the police. They must not see police as enemies. That's why I want to go closer to them and talk to them nicely, so in the environment where they are all seated in a free place. We interact with them. We take photos with the people that really we are not there to arrest, but to assist them, so that they can also come to us. For them, they must not be afraid to come to us when they're experiencing problems wherever they are. And, I can say, Pastor.
And Brigadier, looking at schools specifically, you said in most cases you will be addressing learners jointly, both boys and girls. And this approach of addressing boys alone has its own impact. What do you think? Are you thinking maybe it's important also to have workshops with girls alone?
I think we must do that way, Pastor. It can assist us a lot. We address them so that they can also be free to ask questions which concern them without the other male or female child. They will be free to can ask any question.
One thing that touched me is like Mr. Mamabulo when he said, in most cases we, in fact, I think you whether you said it or the second manager said it, I think it's the second manager who said they had awards and they had a guest who kept on saying, girls, take care of yourselves, girls. Until she said, no, it's wrong. Let us also talk to boys. You know, when there's teenage pregnancy, for sure, it's not a girl alone. A boy is involved. And it's like it's saying to antelopes in a park or in a Kruger park, you must run faster when lions are coming against you. But not saying to the lions, you must stop killing and killing and killing, because at the end of the day, you are not going to survive alone. So I think that really came home in my heart to say, let's focus on the boy child. And I feel with this focus on the boy child, the girl child, bringing a balance, and working together as fathers, as mothers, as leaders in different circles, because Brigadier, you are a woman of authority, but to see you coming down and say, with my authority, I come down to empower a young boy. Yes, I think it has a great impact. I can imagine what is going on in the minds of those young boys when they think Brigadier Mashila was here. She spoke to us, she encouraged us, and she guided us in the journey of life. And what other programs are you having as SAPS that reaches out to communities, empowering communities against criminal activities and against all sorts of societal ills that are our challenge today?
Thanks. In fact, you are having the programs where we go out during the Indies. I think the program for the Indies, where we go out to the community with other stakeholders to address all the people in the community, addressing different type of crime, especially gender-based violence, because now it's a thorn in our community, gender-based violence crime. So we're also using the programs of going to schools almost time and again. We're using men and women in blue who go to the schools to address the learners and remind them about the crime and other sort of things. So there are programs which we are doing with our department. We're not working alone. We are going in there. We also visit the churches and address them about crime and other things.
Sure. Brigadier, thank you so very much. We really appreciate your time. We know you just arrived home after a hectic morning, but a very fulfilling one. Thank you so very much. And what would you love to say to South Africa? The program I'm working on, which we have hosted this feedback, is Love SA, where I'm trying to say to us all, let us love South Africa. Let us be contributors in healing. Let us be contributors in building. Let us be contributors in shaping the South Africa that we desire, and also telling ourselves, by the time I exit this life, I would love to have contributed in building a South Africa that the next generation will be proud about. What would you love to say to us all as we release you tonight?
I want to say that we don't need to point fingers at each other when things went wrong. We need to work together, to have a way forward together and plan together. How best can we address the challenges we are having at the moment as a country? So I want to say, let us all work together. Let us partner and communicate and arrange some engagement with the community out there. Each one is having a special role to play in the community. If we can join hands together, we plan together, we can do more for our country, especially focusing on the boy child, because we usually focus on the girl child. We neglect the boy child. And that's such, at the end of the day, they are the one being perpetrators of crime. So I say let us all work together to have a better future. Yes, that's all that I can say for now.
Thank you so very much. And then, Ms. POTEDI, what would you like to say to Brigadier before we release her?
Brigadier, thank you so much for your time, and I will still love to continue working with you. And like you said, that your door is open, and we will engage further to make sure that we hold hands, like you said, that let's do this together, let's work together to make sure that we have a better country, we have a better community, and we love our children and make sure that we educate them and they become strong and be better in all spheres of life. Thank you so much, Brigadier.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mama.
And thank you so much.
Ikensile swinene ka mhani madambi ya kahle mi wisa kahle.
I can Mfundisi.
Inkomo swinene.
Available nkarhi hinkwawo.
Thank you, Brigadier.
Inkomo swinene.
This is Bold Move Radio. Streaming 24/7. 24/7.
Say Africa. Say Africa. Say Africa.
Boldly breaking barriers and limitations.
That's Brigadier Mashi. Thank you so very much, Mama. We really appreciate it. And Sister POTEDI, thank you so very much. You know, it's so humbling to see mothers rising up and joining hands to build a better and a greater nation.
Yeah.
And let's talk about the other stakeholders and their contribution to the project today.
Okay. Like I said earlier, we had Ndete Mama Bolo.
Yes.
He's a chairperson for Men for Change. Works under Capricorn District Municipality. And when I engaged with him, I was given to him by another person who works with him. And he said this person can actually work with you better because his passion is for the young boys. And indeed, this person was not selfish, and I just made a call and say, hey, I've got this type of initiative, and this is where my heart is, and this is what I'm longing to do, and I cannot do it alone. Can we work together and do this thing? I'm at your service. That was the response. Like I was just, that's what I'm saying. It sounds like they were not like, oh, I'll think about it. No, they were not like, I'll come back to you. It was more like, okay, I'm at your service. Please tell me. I'm excited. That's a great initiative. In all of them that I've even others are still coming for the next program. That other stakeholders are still going to be part of this. When I spoke to him, he said, please send me the invitation. I would like to be there, and tell me where, what time. I will definitely be there. And I said, okay, fine. I told him, and he was just in there even say, where is my invitation? Where is my invitation? To show that, when somebody's even out for something, that it shows that only interest in it. It was not like he's doing me a favor. Yes. And when I looked at his profile, indeed, this person has went through a lot in life in terms of the impact that he has made into Men for Change, and he wants to take it down to the level of laying a good foundation towards the kids. And for me, when he spoke, I was like, it's like he put himself into their shoes. It's like he came back from the age that he is. He came to be 15 years. And like you could speak to their level, and you could see even how the learners interacted with him. It's like he relived the life with them. For me, it was like he was such a wonderful motivational speaker, and we spoke even after that to say that we still gonna continue to do more programs because I felt there's just so much more that I feel that he need to empower boys. Like he's breaking the cycle of silence. That it's important that for a man to talk. And as young as you are, you must be able to talk. Don't say there's no such. For the manner in which he articulated that information, for me, there was he was not like just making a statement, but he was more of saying, hey, you are more the same way, you've got the same feelings, you are human too. Let's work together in that. And even when what you just said now, Muruti, to say when he addressed the issue of saying we always blame women when they are pregnant, for example. We always say when he addressed the issue of virginity, we always address it to women. We we don't address it to boys. And that's where we fail as mothers or as parents, not mothers, as parents, to say that we say, "Mamang lose your virginity, she's pregnant." We forget that the biggest contributor is man.
Yes.
And that's where we needed to go back and address that part. I love how we articulated to say that let's shift the focus from say that a woman is pregnant and what's wrong of being a virgin. He emphasized the issue of being a virgin at that age of 14, 15, 16. You are not stupid. You are not stupid for being a virgin. You must actually be proud to say that I'm a virgin, So he just this is one of the things that really in most of the cases,
yes,
it's sort of, we are not open to talk about it, but he was just an open book.
Yes.
I think that's what moved me about him. And I even spoke to him after that to say that I'm so moved on how you really articulated all this to these young boys and the way they related to you. For me, that was key. For me, I was totally moved.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true. That was so profound.
Yes.
That was so touching. And so moving, in fact, because you see a father, in fact, he's a grandfather,
Yes.
and you see him talking to his grandchildren and opening up and telling them even some of the challenges or the blunders that he made as a grandfather, and said, you don't want to go through that road. I bent my fingers.
Yeah.
I'm alive today by grace. And that was so touchy. And we really appreciate you, Tate Mamabulo, and you are such a blessing and with Men for Change. Thank you so very much. And let us join hands and do good. Refile Clementine Moroka says something very powerfully. She says, the challenge is the shift, is to shift the societal paradigm around what it means to be a man.
Yeah.
We can equip our young men to redefine masculinity in a positive way, but this will be in vain if the society does not embrace this shift. It takes a community.
Absolutely.
And we are so grateful for how Pastor Strike and POTEDI for advocating for the King's Young Men Enrichment programs. We appreciate the exposure you are giving this program, the King's Young Men Enrichment Program at Iponeng. It's just the beginning. There is a lot more to do. Absolutely. Very true. And thank you, Sisi Refile. In fact, you are right when you talk of the societal paradigm shift. And I think that's where POTEDI, that's where we need more stakeholders.
Yes.
That's where we need NGOs, we need churches. That's where we need communities, Lidi Horo, Jamishat, so that we're able to really move society into a paradigm that is very, very healthy and very accepting and embracing, because masculinity has been defined in a very wrong way.
Yes.
I remember growing up as a young boy, we'll go looking after livestock. From nowhere, the bigger brothers, and they bring it to you, the two of you. I mean, we have been looking after cattle together, we've been doing things together, and the next thing they say to you, Wamuchaba, and then how about move like this? They want you to and then how like that? Because if you don't fight him, you are beaten still.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a wrong training. I remember I fought a friend of mine for no reason.
Yeah.
About look like that, and then we have to start a fight.
Yeah.
We never had anything. So I think those and in a way we say you are building a man. You must be a man. You man up and things like that. But and suppressing the emotions that are very, very much important, to be able to feel pity, to be able to care. Because at the end of the day, you are this bully who does not care.
Yeah.
You know, it reminds me back in those days, there was a gentleman who was so rude, this young man. Because with us, the songas we would use them as and with beads as decoration for our tradition. How dare you do that? You can see that this guy is dead. He's a walking dead somebody. And this was in the name of building a strong man, a building. And that paradigm needs to shift, because a strong man must not be a violator, must not be an offender, but a strong man must be a protector. A strong man must not just be strong with muscles, but he must be strong in thinking, in reasoning, in kindness, you know. And I believe Rome was not built in a day. And the Afrikaners, let's say, Biggie Macmir, I believe strongly that, you can eat the whole elephant piece by piece. And what you are doing, Ceci Potedi, it's making waves. It's having an impact, because today we came in there as different stakeholders and under your banner, and we spoke passionately so, and we felt to be part of this. And wherever you go, that's why we pledge to follow you and to help you, because we know what you're doing. You're not doing it just for yourself, but that's loving SA. Let's talk about CORE. CORE also, it's an organization that, even from the first meeting we've had, I loved them. I loved what they do. I love the encouragement that they have on our children. What can you say about CORE today? They were represented by our sister P. MATJUTLA.
CORE, it's an organization that I've met them around early at the beginning of the year, and they made their proposal to me that their mandate basically is to emphasize the issue of education, the issue of literacy, that they want to encourage young girls or learners as whole, young girls and boys to read, or even old people that and they came with that mandate, and they've got a library where they collect books from as far as 1980 something, even to date, the current books. To encourage the communities to say, it does not mean it's too late for you to it is not too late. You can still come and read and empower yourself. They spoke about when you like knowledge is key, knowledge is power. You are able to see things in a different way. And when talking about even this part of King's Young Men Program, the importance of education is very key, because you'll be able to make decisive decisions because you're knowledgeable. You will even know on how to handle certain issues without being violent about them, without acting up on them in whichever way. But you'll know exactly, because of you are knowledgeable in whatever that you or whatever the books that you'll be reading. So I said, you know what, I would like to work with you guys, because this I cannot continue with this program without this lake. It also works together into what I want to achieve. And can we collaborate together and emphasize this part, because it will also help in terms of, it will reduce the issue of gender-based violence, because when you're knowledgeable, like I said, you will make decisive decisions and you'll be able to know on how to treat. Remember, you don't read only biology, if it is biology or whatever it is, or if it is math, even your motivational books on how to treat a human being as a whole. That's literacy. So you'll be able to make a decisive decision. I said, you know what, please, can we work together on board? They said, with pleasure. Here we are at your service. Whenever that you want us to do anything. They're also working by themselves too, but they said whenever that you want us to come in on board, we'll be at your service. Please, this is very key. This is very important, and I'm happy with so far what they have done and with the service that they already provided to all the learners.
In fact, I was so impressed also because you know some of them are educators, and the issue of reading and writing is very key. Because for a child to learn, first, they must be able to understand the language, and you improve your language the more you read and read. You know, I love it when they say read a newspaper, read something. You know, pick up something and read. You know, there's one of your colleagues in correctional services. She is Colonel Mabunda Zandi. You know, Colonel Mabunda, she went into communication. Specifically because whether it was her dad or her uncle who always sent her to buy a newspaper, you know, every day will say, go and buy me a newspaper. And then she got interested. Why is he reading this newspaper? And she started reading, and that became her career. And now she's at Department of Correctional Services under communication at head office. So it goes a long way. Reading changes lives. Like the other day, I spoke to the boys about this gentleman, Dr. Who's that doctor? You know, this man who was the first neurosurgeon at Johns Hopkins Hospital. You know, a man, Ben Carson, Dr. Ben Carson, who was said to be not that bright by the peers in the class, but because the mother took the initiative of his boys having to go to the library, borrow books and read, he picked up one book about rocks or about stones and then read it. And after reading it, one day the teacher comes in class and picks up a stone and says, anybody who knows what this stone is? Guess what? Ben knew, because they've been reading some books around it, because it's not just about your books for your grade of school. No, reading is reading. And once you develop this love for reading, you pick up every opportunity that you have, you read, and it broadens your understanding and enlightens you. So he even asked, do you know how this rock is formed? He explained, and the whole class was shocked because they knew Ben is not that smart. But you know, then he realized, they always said I'm not smart. Now I'm the smart guy in the whole class. I'm the one who knows this thing.
Definitely.
And how did I become smart? Library. And he loved it even more. And it became such an asset today. So reading. When Cole spoke about that, I felt our children need to hear this. You know, I know our children loves music. When they have earphones, they're playing music. It's good. They are young. They must love their music, but they must also love reading. Because after that, they see things differently. They even know how this particular musician became that big, became that great, because there is something about them. If you read some biographies, you learn a lot. So,
and Murito, on that, you remind me on when my mother was still alive at that time, she will say that as much as please bala. Like she was a domestic worker, but she emphasized the issue of going to school. Please, my daughter, go to school. And when they did that, they're taking that responsibility, even with the responsibility of parents. I'm not saying that their parents don't do that, but they're adding into what their parents are saying to them at home, to say what they had from home. We are saying that again to you, the importance of reading. Trust me, you will never regret, because I see it myself, that people who were my peers in those times, and the way they were able to get a dropout or whatever, they were not able to continue with school, and where we are together, we are in a different level. They are on they live a different life, and I live in a different life. I'm not saying that we are nobody's better than anyone, but you could see that what my mother has emphasized to say that, Wanaka, I don't want you to come and be like me. This is what she said. And Murito, on that, she particularly said to me, at the holidays, come to me and utlo bereka le nna.
And
Yes, that's what she, so that you're not going home. You're going to come to where I work. Re tlo emela makgowa tsamaya go sing, then ke tla o ntsha ke ra ba dumele ngwana wa mneni a itla ke tlo go ba dumela ba sno tsama Yes. And for me, one incident that really touched me so hard. We cleaned. It was a big house. We cleaned. And around 11, 12, the big boss come with the dogs. And I think this big boss, the owner of the house, from the river. I think they said they owned some river somewhere. From the river, I think he fell together with the dog, and the mat. Cleaner from the second kitchen, his 2 kitchens.
Yes.
He just decided to get in with that mat with the dog, and from the kitchen to the bedroom, and it was a long walk to freedom.
Yes.
Think of the mud all over there.
Yes.
And this is, my mother looked at me and said, this is what I'm dealing with every day of my life. My daughter go to school because I don't want you to be like me.
Yes.
I'm doing this for you guys because I never had an opportunity. I did want to go to school, but I never had an opportunity to be able to go to school. Please, I don't want you to be here.
Yes.
I said, definitely. Yes.
And today, life is never the same.
Absolutely.
Mom is gone, but she's given you something that you're able to stand on your own, and you're able to even pass it on to children. So I think this is very much important. Of all the things that we can leave for our children, if we leave them knowledge, if we leave them education, they will be able to navigate through life, which is very, very much important. So, POTEDI, it has been a great time having you tonight on Love SA. And I would just love to say to my viewers and to all my listeners, I know this program we just came unannounced, but I appreciate those of you who managed to tune in, and those of you, of course, who will be able to watch this later because it is on YouTube already, on Facebook, so you'll be able to watch it. But the Love SA and the Nehemiah phenomena is saying to us, let us be contributors in building this nation. And it is a platform, says POTEDI, where I also would love, like today we had Brigadier Mashila talking to us. I would love for government to begin to talk to us of the good things that they have done. I said one day to one of our MEC, the problem is you're doing good, but you're putting it under the carpet. One of the reasons why communities are taking it taking it to the street is because they don't know what you are doing and what you have done. You may not be able to cover the whole community or the whole province or the whole district or the whole municipality, but you are doing something. And we have to talk about that that people are patient, people are able to wait, knowing, and people are hopeful, knowing that, you know what, services are also coming my way. Because I believe that it is upon us all to build a South Africa that we're going to live for our children's children, a South Africa that will be better. But as for now, I must be honest with us, the challenge is so huge. We have destroyed more than building. This is in the name of disgruntlement, anger, service delivery protests, which I must say, and this is my prayer again, when we talk of political knowledge or political education, I think it's very much important for us, and we are going to do it on this platform because the reason or the main objective for Bold Moves Radio, even if you look on the statement, we say boldly breaking barriers and limitations, raising the flag of hope for an African child. Very important. We want to leave no stone unturned and make sure that we're raising a flag of hope for an African child. Nobody cares about an African child. If we don't care about an African child, then an African child is doomed. That is why we have our African children dying in the Mediterranean, trying to look for greener pastures. But while all the East, the West are flocking to Africa for our mineral resources, for our wealth, why are we not able to leverage or to take advantage of all the minerals, of all the cultures, the beautiful people of our continent. Ubuntu, which is not something to be learned. It's in us, but it is being eroded in the process because of hunger and because of all these things. I believe you and I, right where you are, in that corner of the continent, we can make a difference. And that is why standing in the southern part of Africa, I'm saying love SA, love East Africa, love West Africa, love Central Africa, love Africa, and let us make a difference in our own small way. I want you to know a river gets flooded because of the little streams that flows into it. And let us become those little streams that flows into the river of progress, that flows into the river of forward movement. And Mrs. Universe Africa 2022 finalist, POTEDI MATJUTLA, she is a stream that is contributing into the great river, an African dream where we are going to live in harmony, in peace, where crime must not be our problem. I believe gender-based violence, any kind of violence, can be eradicated, can be wiped off. And it is about us joining hands. Do something right where you are with what you have, and we will get there. And I would love to say to my guest, what would you love to say to South Africa, even as we sign off tonight?
Okay. Thank you, Maruti. What I would just love to say will definitely be, let's take responsibility also as parents. You know, we cannot do it alone. Let's continue to encourage our boy child. For those possibly who are having challenges in terms of how to raise a boy child, let's seek help where possible, and be vocal and voice and voice out and say on how can I make my boy child to be a better man at home, or a better son at home, and so that it can be a better man within the community at large. Let's join together as much as we're working with different stakeholders and all of that. Let's put it upon ourselves as parents, because I do have a boy child, and I'm sure in most of us as mothers, we do have a boy child. Let's not keep quiet. Let's try to engage and have a conversation with them, even in a corner or in a private place or in a secret place, so that we can be able to see the challenges that this boy child are encountering. Sometimes they are not able to talk, they're not able to do that. So we can do so much, but it's also upon us as parents at home, because that's where they live with us. These children, they live with us on a daily basis. So let's try to come and be in their shoes and understand what they are going through, so that we can eradicate this issue of gender-based violence. We're not saying it's only boys that are doing gender-based violence. Is both sides. Hence, we're empowering even girls on the other side. That's why we decided that we are not going to leave the boy child alone. We want to make sure that they are equally empowered. That those are the words that I'm leaving the listeners and the viewers with, to say, let's hold hands together. Let's build this nation together. Let's love South Africa together. Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much. I love what Refilwe Moroka says. He says, #LoveSA. Yes, that's a wonderful hashtag. When we should promote that, #LoveSA. Thank you so very much. As I've seen Pastor Twala, he was with us. Goodman Mabunda, July Malabila. Thank you, Magezi Machabe. We really appreciate it. And then thank you to Dr. Manasseh in the USA. Thank you so very much, Doc. And then Desmond Mungwai, Nyeleti Paloi, thank you, my daughter. And then Sylvia Nkuna Murawa, Dr. Tiselanim Daga, thank you so very much. And would love to say a blessed night to you all. This was just a special broadcast. Love SA will continue, but not on a Friday night, because we know Friday night is hectic, but Love SA will continue and on a day that we are working on. But I'm saying to you, family, love SA. In fact, it starts with self-love. Love yourself. You know, as you love yourself, you'll be able to love neighbor. Absolutely. You'll be able to love environment. You'll be able to love others. You cannot give what you don't have. So you must first have it, and then you can give it. Thank you so very much. True. This is Bold
Streaming
Moves Radio.
24/7.
Thank you so very much, and a blessed night to you all.
Boldly breaking barriers and limitations.